Hi, church. For the last time in our series, Connected, we're going to be in Romans. Can I say we did it? We broke all the church growth rules with this series. According to church growth rules, we're not supposed to do a series longer than 4, perhaps 6 weeks. We have actually overshot that, doing a series of 40 weeks. Now, it's not quite what Jim Boyce did up in Philadelphia. I hear his series went 10 years. So 40 weeks is still a good amount of time. And I bet your Bible's now open automatically right up to Romans. And maybe Romans chapter 1, which begins, I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for it's the power of God unto salvation for all those who believe. Because the book of Romans is really all about the gospel. And we've not skipped any of the big topics: total depravity, God's wrath, predestination, homosexuality, drinking alcohol, whether to homeschool or Christian school or public school your kids. We've said the word circumcision at least 57 times. So I think we have to give ourselves a little credit for walking our way through the book of Romans and not skipping any of the difficult topics. This week, we come to Paul's list of co-workers. In the first 24 verses, 33 names are mentioned. 9 of these people were with Paul, 8 men, 1 woman, and 24 are mentioned in Rome, 17 men, 7 women. 2 households are mentioned, 2 unnamed women are mentioned. The mother of Rufus, who is also his mother, is mentioned. It's going to be a really good sermon, maybe a surprise sermon to you, of the power of these relationships in Paul's life. These were his partners in ministry. Actually, he's going to start with Phoebe. And Phoebe is a woman, and what she would end up doing was carrying this gospel all the way from Corinth to Rome. She herself was a businesswoman, and she had business to take care of in Corinth. But when she was traveling back to Rome, Paul entrusted the letter of Romans to Phoebe, and she carried it all the way to Rome. She would also carry Paul's instructions and answer any questions, and she would deliver the letter to them. We'll talk about Phoebe. We'll talk about women in ministry. I believe the role of women is indispensable and essential for the health and well-being of the church. You know, in the creation, we find that there was Adam by himself, and the things God made were good, but it was not good for Adam to be alone. So God made him this suitable helper, this creative counterpart, this mirror to himself, like him but different than him. She was made in the image of God like he was, with value and worth and dignity, and they would partner together to do the work there in the garden. So the men and women partner together, as Paul describes in the book of Romans chapter 16. There's a guy whose name was Fred Craddock, and he talked about the church, and he told this story. Something in my heart warmed about the church, and I just want to share it with you, and I'll stop. It was a custom in a church between Knoxville and Chattanooga to hold a baptismal service in the lake in the evening of Easter. So the church would all kind of gather there, and the baptismal candidates moved from the shore out to the lake. The congregation gathered around them to cheer them on, cooking up some supper. And they constructed these booths there beside the shore where they would change from their wet clothes into dry clothes. And as they moved from the water and changed their clothes, they went to the fire. They had a big fire built there. And once they were all around the fire, this was a ritual of the church. Glenn Hickey introduced the new people. He gave their names, where they lived, what they did. And the rest of us made a circle around them, and while they stayed warm in the fire. And each person gave his or her name. My name is, and if you ever need someone to do washing, my name is, if you ever need someone to chop wood, my name is, if you ever need someone to babysit, my name is, if you need someone to repair your house, and my name is, if you ever need someone to sit with the sick. And then he says we ate, and we had a square dance together. And Percy Miller said then, after a little while, it's time to go. Everybody picked up their things and went home. And with his big shoe, he kicked out the fire that people had been sitting around. And he saw Fred Craddock there, and he said, he was just kind of, this is his first time, and he said, folks don't ever get closer than this. Now, there's a lot of names they give to what happened there at the lake, but the word that Fred gave it was the word church. They were doing church with one another. What we're going to talk about this week is how Paul did church with the people he loved as we finish out the book of Romans. See you Sunday.